I'm so hungry. I'm starving. Oh, I've had a message. Maybe this is telling me. We're in the middle of doing our Zoe app. Show them you're on. And today we are doing a bit of a glucose challenge.
Oh, God, I love it when you talk glucose.
And so you sort of fast for a few hours, then you eat, and then you see how like food is affecting. Now people think this is just about glucose, like a diabetic might, but it's not. It's all connected to the gut. So all the data we're finding out is connected to what we need to know about our gut. I've seen some stuff with people online misunderstanding that and going, but this is, if you eat something sweet, your blood sugar will go up. It's not. It's a bit more complex than that. And it's just really, really interesting.
If you feel like you've landed in the middle of a conversation, that's partly because you have.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a thing called microbiomes?
Oh, shut up. Idiot.
Morning, everyone. Morning, Trina Eads, Lynn Sheard, Raspberry Mojito Girl, December 1982. Is that when you were born? I presume it is. Carol Naismith. Hello. Loz B. Hello, JJX, Dandy Magpie. Chocolate is making me sick and tired, says Dandy Magpie. Have you just had some chocolate? Andrea Crash. Good to see you on time today, Andrea. Funky Kids. Jackie Bellino. Nikita Meo. Hello. Pauline Roberts. Dawny Harvey. Yeah, Sean Tucker. How are you, my darling? So she's just texting her friends in the back of class.
No, I'm not. I'm texting back Zoe.
She's texting Zoe. It's her new friend Zoe. Not you, Zoe. Another Zoe. You've been usurped, Zoe.
Zoe, yeah.
Cut out sugar completely since Monday, says Lisa Robson.
How's it going?
What are you guys... Let me just ask you. Let's imagine we're around the water cooler. What are you watching on telly at the moment? You know what we've missed for 3 days?
Well, yeah.
How the fuck are we going to get back up to speed? What are you watching on telly? Not necessarily streaming. What's on TV? Because I tell you what, I look at things that are on the telly and I'm not drawn to anything on the telly. Do you know what I mean? Station 19, Tim Reed. Is that good? Is it good? Good morning from Adelaide. Hi, Julie Johnston. Grey's Anatomy, says Dandy Magpie. Rewatching Waterloo Road, says Nicole Walton. Do they still make Waterloo
Road? People are watching Celebrity Get Me Out. We haven't even seen it.
It started on Monday and I didn't see it.
How's Gillian McKeith this year?
TV is rubbish just now, says Carol Naismith.
Oh, we don't watch main
Race
television.
Around the World and BBC Samantha Bee. I kind of was flicked towards that because of doing something similar years ago. Malpractice. Ellie Denning. That's the one with Neve Alga, the actress, isn't it? Where she plays, Malpractice. Yeah, I considered that. That started on Sunday, didn't it? Malpractice. Yeah, I thought we should have watched Malpractice. There's something else coming up. You know how we like to do big series, reviews, or, we haven't had anything to do for yonks. Nothing.
No big series.
Even Succession confused us.
Oh, enjoying Celebrity.
Is it good?
I've been asked to do that Celebrity Hunted quite a few times, and it's just like, I can't find my way to the end of the street. They just dump you somewhere without a phone.
I can't believe Waterloo...
And they don't even pay you to do it.
I can't believe Waterloo Road's still... Is that the one set in a school? Waterloo Road, what is it?
Yeah.
Is it set in a school? Yeah. I'm in Adelaide, says Carol Aviard.
Hello to Adelaide.
Tracy Street, I need a bit of a laugh, so I love Mock the Week. It has to be said, there's no tent pole telly thing, is there? Great Expectations started and faded away. Shrinking with Harrison Ford. This is an old T-shirt, a very old T-shirt. Yeah. Oh, tell you what you need to start watching. I'm halfway through the series Beef, if you've got Netflix. Very, very, very good. I keep telling this lot to watch it. I got the girls, Maddie and Kiki, have watched the first episode with me, first 2 episodes. It's been around for a while. I've come to it late. Barry. Oh my God, starring Bill Hader. I needed
and Fred Winkler.
Pardon?
Fred Winkler.
Who's Fred? No. What is his name? Henry Winkler. Henry Winkler, the Fonz. It is about, let me give you the grab on it. It is about, Waterloo Road was brought up. It was about, it's about a hitman, an ex-Afghan vet hitman, who is losing interest in his hitman career and accidentally, on a job in Los Angeles, falls upon a passion he never knew he had for acting. It's brilliant about acting. It has Breaking Bad vibes. It's brilliantly written, and it's kind of manages to be slightly almost slapstick funny without losing its seriousness. You're going to love it.
I'm going to love it.
You're going to love it. Henry
There's
Winkler.
a great drama on Prime called Defending, or missed it.
Barry is
We've
brilliant.
gone very blurry, babe.
Oh God, we haven't. Hang on a minute. Let me just take you off and put you back on. Is that better? Better? Blurry yet? We're trying to. Oh, might give Barry a go. I don't know if you can hear us. Can you? Casualty's gone downhill. Bev Berry. Better. I watched Casualty the other day. It was diabolical. Raspberry Mojito Girl. Happy birthday. Oh, Fifi. Happy birthday. Netflix Nix is Beef. It's Fifi's birthday.
Happy birthday, Fifi. We'll sing it to you at the end. Hope you're well, my darling.
Football, Donny Harvey. Yeah, Beef. So Beef on Netflix. Check it out. I'm going to do a review of the first 5 episodes. It stars Stephen Yeun and Ali Yong, I think. And is it Ali or Ali Wong? Sorry. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's like Michael Douglas falling down. 2 people at opposite ends of the wealth bracket, furious about their lives and jobs, taking it out on each other. It's great. It's about life. It's about the system.
I don't know how this has turned into a TV review.
I don't know. Well, because
We've
there's
gone
no
off on
news.
one.
I just thought I'd share with everyone. I wanted to know what everyone was watching.
I know. We're just having a chat. A little warm-up
I'll
chat.
shut up then.
No, you didn't need
No,
to.
no, I
didn't
don't mean
say
it like that. I
that.
don't mean it like that. But oh, Marvellous Mrs. Maisel, and Kay likes that,
Yeah,
doesn't she?
she loves that.
I think that's about, isn't that about performance as well?
Married First Start Australia, we're 3 episodes behind. How are we going to catch up? I just don't know.
I feel we're not going to.
Ah, so annoying. Right, so Robbie Williams says he prefers cuddling now to sex. TikTok still going crazy on the whole almond mums subject. We touched on it last week, but we're going to go into it in a bit more depth. And wedding photo fails, because we thought we could tell you about our wedding photo fail.
Yeah.
In that we don't have any photos.
Yeah, a couple of these stories I'm not entirely across. What is that noise? Oh, bless her. She's rolling around. Chi rarely does that, does she? Can we have
Sorry, he's just answering me. They're very sweet because they
Ted
just gotta bear with
Lasso.
it.
Donna Pearson. Ted Lasso. We started that. Anyway, let's get off that. Sorry, I've distracted at the back of class. Let's talk about Robbie Williams. This is Robbie Williams, who's admitted in interview that he's gone off. They don't have sex much.
There's
anymore.
actually quite a lot in this,
Yeah.
I thought, this
Him and his
article. First
partner.
of all, I wonder how Ida feels about him saying this, because this isn't an interview with both of them, I don't think, is
No,
it?
but that's the thing that the journalist says.
Yeah,
here.
he says,
Yeah.
it's all
not the
very
kind of
well
thing
him
you
saying
open up
this, but
about.
how does Ida feel about it?
Yeah.
But he talks about how these days he just doesn't want sex for various reasons. One being because he's an addict.
He says he
And to
barely
treat his
bothers
depression.
with sex.
Yeah, he had to come off his testosterone that he was taking, which I find strange because I thought testosterone was, if you're very low in testosterone, I thought that was a cause of depression. But he said something about being an addict, so maybe it's something that's difficult. If
Well, he
you're
said
an
it was.
addict.
Yeah, he said it's part of his meds to treat his depression. I must admit,
It was a bit odd.
That
was a
stood
bit
out
odd.
to me a little bit.
We didn't really understand that bit, but basically he came off the testosterone, and so he has very low testosterone. If you have low testosterone, you don't have sex drive.
But he actually describes their bedroom life as completely dead.
Completely dead.
That's a bit. I mean, even if it's true.
He said due to snoring, testosterone, and having lots of children. I think they've got 4
Oh right.
4 children. And he said, and we're both perfectly happy with that, and we have cuddles sometimes, and we're friends, and that celibacy can work if both people are on the same page, but if one person is wanting sex, then it becomes more complicated. And he said every so often we'll be sitting on the sofas and Ida says, we should do sex, and he says, okay,
No thanks.
and then we try. That's what he said.
God, this sounds absolutely depressing.
So first of all, if he was mine,
Yeah.
I'd be like, thanks a bunch.
Oh.
Wouldn't you be annoyed if somebody gave all that detail? But anyway, it's out there.
So what do we
And
think?
it's out there everywhere. Well, I think if two people have got to the stage where it's more effort than it is fun, and they have a fulfilling relationship and they're both on the same page, what on earth is wrong with it? Again, we want to judge people so much, don't we? At B, I think a lot of people exaggerate and lie about how much sex they have.
Do you think?
195 million searches on TikTok for celibacy. Yeah, I do. I definitely do. I think there's a lot of pressure. I think the world would have you think that everybody's...
How did you remember that statistic?
I don't know.
That's
'Cause it interested
remarkable.
me.
That's oh, right, I see.
Because I thought it was a remarkable
Yeah, and
statistic.
it is a remarkable 90% increase in Google
Google
searches
searches
for celibacy.
I think that's tied up in a lot of things. You know, when we talk to our daughters and you talk about the sorry state of affairs out there with dating.
Now, what have I asked? I've asked a stupid question again. Cuddle or sex? Which, oh yeah, of course.
So I think, but I just think it's very rare that life works out that perfectly, where two people don't have any desire left. And the thing is, you know,
Is it
if
about
all
not having
intimacy,
desire, though? Is
if
it
all
about-
if all intimacy goes out the window because then you stop cuddling, and then I think then you are friends, aren't you? You're no longer.
But I think for me, what was interesting about this story and the reason I pulled it is, can a relationship sustain itself with sort of non-sexual affection? Is that the defining aspect?
that's what
Can
it
that be
is.
the defining aspect of a loving relationship?
if two people are on the same page.
Yeah, no, I've changed the poll. I've realised you can't answer yes or no. And I personally think that whilst cuddling is a huge part, obviously, massive part, I don't think, is it?
Well, no, you
I don't know if I
can't.
think it's a
You're-
relationship
no,
in
no.
the true sense of the word.
Yeah, because you're coming from a position of somebody that still does like sex and wants sex.
Very,
And
very rarely.
So it's very difficult for you to imagine a relationship working without it. But for lots of people, you know, and listen, here's the thing. If you have a massive reduction in testosterone, that doesn't mean you don't fancy the person that you're with anymore.
mean you
You're not
can't do it.
attracted. No, it's not even, well, for a man, I suppose we can't do it, but those sexual urges are tied to your hormones. They're not a totally separate thing from your hormones. You know, that's what people don't seem to understand. Or like, you know, she might think, well, what, do you only fancy me when you've got testosterone? Sex is about testosterone. That's our sex hormones, isn't it? That and estrogen. But
I think I'd be a bit depressed. You know, like we were talking about the other week about the moment you have to acknowledge at a certain age that you have to sort of, you know, sacrifice or hand over your driving license because you should take yourself off the road. Does there come a point where you sort of say, this is ridiculous. What I'm wanting to do, I'm this age, I'm like that, this is ridiculous, and you just stop. I live in fear that there's a moment where one just has a sort of eureka moment whilst making a coffee and you go,
I
can't
don't
do
think
this
it ever
anymore.
works like that.
Do you not?
I think it's a gradual thing. Laura Lou just said her grandmother always used to say, sex is for men, and she had a happy marriage for 70 years.
Sex is just for... Wow. Meaning she had it but didn't enjoy it.
Presume so.
No, it's just a new interview. It's a new interview, Andrea, where he's talked about... I personally think it's not fair in public, though I did discover the other day that my penis was being talked about on Loose Women without knowing it was going to be talked about.
Yeah, but
But just the courtesy
It
before
wasn't-
it's flapped around
No, it came out
everywhere.
by
I
accident.
know it did, darling, and then we had to put it back again, didn't we?
Kay went, I don't know what's happening here, because we were talking about something else, and then she said about naked attraction. I said, oh God, that's where Mark found out he'd been circumcised. He wasn't circumcised.
So,
He was-
no, he was circumcised, babe.
Oh yeah, you are circumcised.
Oh, let's get it right. Anyway, no. But the point is, I think it's bad. I mean, you often see it, for example, in Love Island, where the women will go off to one side that they've had and the men go off to another side. And the men, having said they won't reveal anything, say what they've done or what it was like or how it's been. And the women are really, really angry. I sometimes think that's feigned, because I think women talk about what they've got up to just as much as men do in terms of saying they wouldn't. But I personally think when you're in a long-term relationship, a loving relationship, to share the nature of your love life with someone else, a third party, and describe it without the say-so of the other one is
But we
a bit
don't know.
disrespectful.
They might have spoken about this
I'm
before.
not saying it heavily. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, but I'm just thinking they might have said it in other articles, mightn't they? And so it's just a repeat of that. She's a very, very open person. I really like Ida.
I don't think I could do a relationship just based on cuddles. That's me. I don't. Do you think you could?
Well, I think I've had periods of time when I was like, the other thing that I really liked about this article, he goes into real depth, the journalist, about what does happen in a long-term relationship with kids. And when he was talking about how, you got kids all over you, pulling your beard, being sick, and when I was in full like mother thing, and you've just got this all the time, pulling at your boobs and just wanting you and hanging on your leg and hanging off your arm, and it's just, you're just so physically entwined with them that that was the last thing on my mind. It was the absolute last thing on my mind, and I would have loved for it to just be just a totally acceptable thing. I've said this before on here. I think, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they've got kids and your sex life has gone a bit down, just be really as understanding of that as you can, and that's the best way for people to get back to it, because the pressure of feeling like, I've got these children, I'm doing this, I'm keeping these humans alive, and I've got to be this sexual being as well, is very, very pressurized. It's really hard. And he talks, doesn't he, about kids getting in the bed, and it's like, you might have sex in the morning, but then your kids wake up at 5:30, you might grab one, but then the laundry's got to be done. So I think there is definitely periods of time through our time together where it would have been nice to have just taken it off the list of things that you're supposed to be doing to have a good relationship, being a great,
there is a pressure for it to be all singing, all dancing, almost all the time. And if you were to ever kind of drop in a sort of speculative fashion into where your sex life is at any point, then it should be at this point, this regular, this enjoyable.
Exactly, and that would infuriate me. I think it's a moving thing.
Peaks and troughs, as someone just said.
I had my second child at 42.
Yeah.
So that is... So I would have been perimenopausal as I had my second child. So my hormones would have been like this, plus you're just more tired at 42. Most people are having their kids 10, 15 years earlier than that, and you've got all of that. So peaks and troughs, I think, and if somebody is judging their relationship like, oh my God, we were having this much sex at this time, and now we're only having this much sex, that is the road to hell. Don't think like that. Think of it, as a bit of a roller coaster.
I didn't realise Justin Bieber did something called a voluntary abstinence, a self-imposed tenure of celibacy because he had a legitimate problem with sex. Orlando Bloom, likewise, took a 3-month sabbatical. I don't know if you can describe 3 months as a sabbatical. As you rightly say, hashtag celibacy, 195 million views on TikTok. Someone else says, I haven't had sex for 4 years. We never have sex, do we? That's Robbie Williams. But I mean, I don't know. I just couldn't do it. Yeah, okay.
Well, we've got a good question, actually. We didn't have time to do on our agony aunt and uncle around this. And it's from a woman in her 50s. Maybe you're listening right now. And she... or 60s, maybe 60s, and she has had HRT. She had a very difficult menopause. She's now on HRT, so she's got her sex hormones back. Not everybody. I mean, this is the thing. If you don't like your partner and you don't fancy them and you take HRT, you are not going to want sex with your partner. You're probably going to want sex, but maybe with somebody else. It doesn't make you fall in love with your partner or make you fancy, but just your sexual being. Not for everyone, doesn't work for everyone, but for a lot of people. And anyway, so she's reawakened and her husband just doesn't want to know.
Okay, well that was going to be my final thought, just as I was kind of timing out of this. I was thinking, how would you feel if I suddenly said, oh, I don't fancy it or I don't want it, and suddenly was like not wanting it at all? Would you go to a place of self-reflection and think, oh, what's...
I'd think the aliens had come and taken you and replaced you with somebody else.
Okay, there's that. But would it bother women as much as it sort of bothers men?
You can't say
I don't know.
You can't, I mean,
Well, I'm
this
just
idea,
trying to open the conversation
this
out.
idea that all men want sex and all women don't is totally ridiculous. I feel so sorry for all the men that aren't like wanting sex all the time.
I think there's a pressure on men to.
Be
I think
fully
women.
sexual
I
all
think
the
women
time.
assume that men want it all the time, so that when men don't
toxic
want it,
masculinity.
there is an immediate assumption that it must be about having gone
Yeah.
off the person, not being
Yeah.
attracted to the person. There is also that sort of curious moment when you don't feel like it, and contrary to what Nadia says, there are times when I don't feel like it, and when the other person does, there's a little hatch in my brain that goes, shit, that's annoying.
Well, imagine
That's
when you're
annoying.
a woman and you've got a leaking bloody breasts and you've got a child who's going to wake up any second and the place is a tip downstairs and you've got to be up at work for 6. Imagine that shit.
Well, 3/4 of you lot would prefer a cuddle to sex. There we go.
Wow, there you
There
go.
Big
Wow.
resounding vote.
Emma says she'd rather have a bar of chocolate.
Yeah, someone said, or watch something on telly. What's this one? Photographer goes viral after complaining that a Karen ruined his shot and apparently rage-filled my body. So explain.
But this was more, I mean, this story isn't much. It's basically he had the perfect shot. You know, they were the end of a walkway into the sea. There was something flying across, and then this woman just walked across his lens and ruined the shot. But it just got me thinking about, because you'll have seen us a few times moan about we don't have wedding photos.
Well, we have, obviously we post some, so we have, but they're ones that were, we had some
Our
taken.
wedding photographer.
And she gave us essentially what amounted to almost a contact sheet.
Yeah, and
Of
then
tiny ones.
and then never gave us our photos.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Because she got some idea about something. I can't even remember what it was. She was...
It was
it was
weird.
her copyright. That was it.
Yeah, something really
That
weird.
was it. She
So we
said
weren't
the
allowed to-
photos were her... I've just remembered what it was.
What a
I
fucking
wonder if
joke.
that's because... Oh, it's just occurred to me. I wonder if that's because I was off the telly, so she was worried the photos would go somewhere.
Damn, bollocks. It was a
No,
pain
I
in the
wonder
arse.
if that's what it was. And so she thought that she wouldn't earn money from it.
It's a wedding.
No, but I wonder
It's
if that's
someone's
what it...
wedding.
Do they... Listen, God, I've just remembered. Do wedding photographers ask for copyright off the
Photographers
photo?
do have copyright even now, says Faith Goodman. How can they have, hang on, how can they
That
have
was it, that was
copyright
the row we got
over
into.
a wedding?
But you see, it's
Yeah, but she
interesting.
never gave us our
It's
own
interesting
copies.
because-
Surely you're allowed your own
Yeah.
copies.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because we both were undiagnosed insane ADHDers at that time. And what did we do? We let that go. We procrastinated and we didn't
headed
follow
off
through
on
with the
work,
argument.
We just didn't pick it up.
And we were in a mess and we never got our wedding photos. Now, I didn't look very nice on my wedding.
You did, you
I
look
did.
gorgeous. I love that.
I forgot to get a
I look
makeup
like an
artist.
absolute fucking twat with whoever got me to wear that enormous knot.
I loved it.
Well, yeah,
But I
didn't.
forgot to get a makeup artist and I didn't have anyone to do my hair, so I just looked like rubbish. I was 4 months pregnant, so I didn't look pregnant, I just looked weird. And
Okay, this
Yeah.
might be a given. Everyone's saying this is what. Why do photographers retain copyright? Why don't
think
you?
we had that big row with her and it's what they're supposed
Why?
to do.
Yeah, I know, but what I don't understand is why do you not pay them to take the photographs? They give you the back in the day the negatives or the digital files, and then they're yours. It seems like the most obviously natural transaction for the most important day of your life. I don't understand it. I literally don't understand it. It might be what happens, but why? Maybe someone could explain to me.
Joe Carol McGiffin said, "Oh, I've got loads of photos from your wedding." I said, "Oh God, we'll send them to you
Yeah,
then."
absolutely. Well,
Because
I
she's a
mean-
real photographer.
The ones that we find every now and then, I posted one the other day. That was an informal one, not taken by the
Where did you find that
photographer.
photo?
Maddie found it, and so there are some that were obviously taken by people on the day. There are a couple,
got
but they're so small you can't even get into them. It's
So
their art.
annoying.
It might be their art, but their art is of someone else's day. You are hired. It's like if you're hired to make well, it's less the same when you're broadcasting, because you do own, and we've sold series after we've made them around the world, but you license it out. But when it's someone's personal, it's like taking photographs of someone's baby and saying you can't have them.
She wouldn't let us have them.
That's weird. Rachel FH says you can buy copyright. It's usually an option. It just sounds like
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe she said that. We were like, what? Because we didn't know anything about it. Thought, what the hell is she doing? Got a bit like, got our rough feathers ruffled, and then just went, oh, well, we just won't have the photo. Can't remember. But anyway.
So anyway, we've got these 2 blue books with tiny photos.
So we just thought that was quite a funny story.
Has anyone else had it?
We don't have our official wedding photos.
Oh, look, Faith Goodman, we're going through it now. They have all the rights on the photos.
But what does that mean? In what way, Faith? I mean, you're going to get your photos, aren't you? We're not.
Only Christos could segue from this to a crested macaque in Indonesia. Sounds like a similar story, the monkey selfie copyright dispute available on Wikipedia about Naruto, a crested macaque in Indonesia.
You're so smart.
Did the macaque want the copyright himself? I'm the macaque in this. Andrew Crash, as a photographer, I own all my photos. I copyright. No, I can understand if you're photographing anything in the world.
But if you're photographing the people that have employed you to photograph you,
their event, I don't understand how anyone else can have copyright over something.
Faith say no, you can't print them, copy them, or publish them online. Your own wedding photos.
Print them or copy them. Sorry, I'm getting cross again. I'm getting cross. This is ludicrous.
It's insane.
I think we need
But at least we now know why we haven't got any wedding photos.
Many photographers don't mess about with their name credit. If it's not included, they often go irate. Reese Roberts, wow. Rachel FH, royalty-free access means the couple can do what they want with them, but if published, the author must... Well, I can understand being credited, but you don't hold them back. Oh.
No, but what I'm thinking now is I think she probably said, you haven't signed your copyright, and because like here, total ignorance about it, we were like, copyright, it's our photos. That's what it is. That's what it is.
I think when we renew our vows, if we ever do, I'll take photos myself.
But you won't be in the shop, babe.
That's fine. I'm happy with that. Okay, well, I don't really understand. The story was... Oh, I see. The story was the photographer getting furious that someone... There is something annoying about someone walking through shot. Are you one of those people? What do you do, guys?
No, but
if
also,
I see someone taking a photograph, say, on Waterloo Bridge, I'll always go round them.
But also, the thing is that a lot of people were commenting about this is, no, it's a great shot because it's kind of funny. And I always say, like when people are nervous about their weddings, I said, it's all the moments that go wrong that you remember. Apart from not getting photos, and those bits are the funny bits. And we said, didn't we? We didn't want any like standing or lined up sort of wedding photos. We wanted them to just feel really natural and off the cuff and all of that. So I tend to agree. I think it's really funny. They're all set up for the perfect shot, and then there's this woman's like shoulder in it. It's quite a funny shot.
I'll never forget a chap called Simon who was a bit of a comedy drunk, and I remember him running across the what was it? What are they called? The awnings that we had. What was it? A sort of tent, whatever it is. I remember him running towards me, and there was a huge sort of wooden pole that was obviously keeping the tent up, the marquee up. And it was one of the most surreal moments. As he ran towards me, the pole was between me and him, and he just ran straight into it. And it dislodged. I thought the whole thing was going to come down and he passed out. I love moments like that at weddings. They're just fantastic. Okay, finally, let's talk about almond. How do you say it? Almond? Almond. How do you say almond? Almond. What, with an R? Almond. What? People who say it like that really annoy me. They say it with such sort of, it's almond. Your mum said it to me the other day. I said, oh, have you got any almonds? And she went, do you mean almonds?
It's just, I don't think anyone...
I felt like such a twat.
Oh, well, you shouldn't, because anyone that talks like that is just being ridiculous. The thing is, different people say it different ways, and that's fine.
How do you say it?
I say almond, because my mum always obviously said almond.
Well,
but people
she told me that.
But people say almond, and I always think, oh, you say almond like that. Okay.
You say almond, and I say... Okay, so what is an almond mum?
So we touched on this, didn't we, last week? But it's just massive on TikTok, this. It just keeps going viral. And my daughter actually said, oh, yeah, everyone says it. There's the almond mum, there's the hummus mum. There's all these different kinds of mums. And the almond mum comes from an episode of The Housewives of Beverly Hills where Gigi Hadid, supermodel, phoned her mum and said, I'm feeling faint. I've had half an almond, but I'm feeling faint. And her mum said, eat 2 and chew really, really well. Now, since that, her mum said it's been taken out of context. I was half asleep when I said it, but I watched all of Housewives of Beverly Hills, and in my opinion, that mum was constantly on at them about their food. They're 2 supermodels, both her daughters. And I remember once her giving a birthday cake to Gigi Hadid, and Gigi went to have a piece. She went, you're not having it. You can't eat it. This is a girl who's like this. And she said, but Mum, I want to try some. And she took like a tiny bit and just like chewed it round and round. And I'm like, I'm literally witnessing, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, the teaching of a eating disorder. I mean, you don't give somebody a cake and say, don't eat it, do you? To a young girl. What are you saying? And so there's a lot of this on social media. And then there was another...
Look, I'm sorry. #AlmondMums has racked up just shy of 1 billion views on TikTok.
1 billion.
1 billion.
So I think this is a lot of different reasons for this. I think there will be people that are weary and want to hear that this kind of dieting and obsession about your body is ridiculous.
The galaxy, Mum says, man.
But then there are people that are always looking for what are the tricks to get thinner. And the diet culture is seriously raising its ugly head again. Models are getting thinner and thinner. We're going a bit more to that chic,
Heroin
skinny
chic.
look. You know, these swings that we go from, you know, I mean, like anyone with daughters will know that for the last however many years, it's like, I've got to have a big bum, I've got to have skinny legs, I've got to have this, I've got to have that. Well, now we're going to total skinny again. You can't have a fashionable body. Bodies are bodies. We can't come in and out of it. And I definitely think that so many mums just do not recognise what they are doing to their girls. They think the only thing that they have to worry about, well, and boys, is social media. There's another TikTok video that went out along these lines, and it was a girl who posted her mum. The girl was in emergency room, sat in the States, and her mum was going back and forth in this tiny room trying to get her steps, trying to keep her steps up.
I saw that, yeah.
And then she was asking whether she would mind her doing push-ups.
Oh, my God.
And then the messages that were coming in were things like, I remember when I was in hospital with my mum, and my mum was furious with me because I'd broken her paleo diet because there was nothing to eat, so she had to eat something other than meat.
Is this like some alternate universe again?
So the thing is, it's a fine line between being healthy and showing that by what you do, by the way you eat, by the way that you say, I'm going out for a walk, I'm feeling a bit thing, and like literally putting this on your kids. So I remember about, oh my God, the fact that I still have this so clearly in my memory, and I've probably told you this, guys, before, it's probably about 8 years ago, but it's as clear as day because it upset me so much. I was walking around the park, Dulwich Park, and as I was walking around, this woman with her daughter was coming round and round each time. And each time, or they were going up and down, that was right, they passed me, the girl was crying more than she'd been crying before. And the mother was telling her to keep running, because they'd had something or other the night before to eat. And I thought, I am watching the unwitting training of a girl into the jaws of eating disorders. And it upset me so much to the point where I wanted to go and say to the woman, I didn't. But for me, it was the same as watching somebody hit their child, or, do you know what I mean? And this girl was exhausted, and the mum just kept saying, you've got to keep running. So awful. Now, that mum probably thought, because she couldn't see her own stinking thinking around body image and food and control and exercise, probably thought she was helping her child.
Do you think?
We need more awareness.
Do you
I
think-
know a number of people who are totally
Do you not?
unaware of the
But
fact
do you not
that they have
think
an
that if
eating
you're
disorder.
talking about having an almond or two, or eating food and spitting it out, you've got to have an awareness of what you're doing. You can't,
Because
in any way, shape, or form, think that that is normal behaviour.
But what about the person that will sit and drink a couple of bottles of wine in front of their child and not realise that they're giving them? This is but it's warped thinking. So many people that have disordered eating have no idea, and why? Because the diet culture has fucked with our brains so much. It's fucked up our brains so much, so that when we go, okay, well, I had that last night, pizza, so what I'll do is I won't eat today and I'll have a salad tonight. Lots of people will think that's them just redressing the balance. That is not. That's fucked up.
Well, yeah, I mean,
fucked up
that's what
eating.
I do. If I have a day of chaos, I'll tend to then restrict for the next 2 days. But it's all binging. It's all about choice, isn't it?
But
I
you
mean,
do have
I
an eating disorder.
yeah, I know. We all have too much. We were talking about this when we were sort of editing the Crete film, and you go into a shop, not across all of Europe, but I was in a shop. We were in a shop in Crete. There were not 16 different choices of biscuit. There weren't 16 choices of
This
different.
is a different argument.
No, it isn't. It's not a different argument at all. The amount of choice you've got to buy and fuck yourself up in the West and in sort of developed, richer countries is one thing. But then there seems to be an inordinate number of choices around how you can restrict, how you can prevent, how you can not choose this, not choose that. If you didn't have so many choices, you wouldn't have so many options for almond diets, for all this absolute nonsense. Narcissistic mums, Brenda M. This is
But I
madness.
would say to you, and when I challenge you on this, I've also admitted it myself. I did it for many years in front of my children because I didn't have awareness. So I would say things like, oh my God, I better just have salad. Oh, I stuffed my face. Oh, I feel so bad. I ate carbs all day yesterday. Oh my God, look at my disgusting arms. Nothing will make me say that now in front of my kids because I understood that I was disordered. I thought it was normal. I'd been, told by the diet culture that this is what you do by osmosis over decades that had gone deep into my brain. But you're further back from me because men are further back with the disordered eating, where you still will say, oh my God, I've stopped myself. Oh, I feel so bad, I've had this. You say that a lot in front of the kids. And you deride your looks, which are great. You've got amazing looks. You've got amazing body. You're fit, you're healthy. So you are the exact example of what I'm talking about. Because you think that it's okay when you say, well, I'm not going to eat anything because
But the weird thing, why do we have a particular problem? It's almost like we're like America. Because if you go to, because I just realised as I said that about Greece, when I've been into shops in France, these are developed countries in the developed world. They have in no way, shape or form the same amount of choices in their hypermarkets as we do in a corner shop.
Because the culture.
Why us?
I tell you why right now.
And America.
Easy, I can tell you. The culture in these other countries is still people sit together and they eat. You go to a normal state school, primary school in France, the children sit down and they have 3 courses because
someone just said,
there's a real
3-course meals.
respect for the whole, for food and the gratitude for good food, and they eat everything. You know, this here and in America, we're on the run. We've got snacks everywhere. People don't sit and eat. There's so much less proper cooking. And we have to just hope that in another 100 years, we've got somewhere to there. The Italians wouldn't dream of having a bag of bloody crisps in the middle of the day because they're hungry. They just go, oh, okay, we're having lunch soon.
No, I know, but there's this curious
Snack.
aspect, isn't there, to the English and to America, where we're more than happy to slide into the abyss of choice and overindulgence. And that's not to say that it doesn't happen. It's a stupid generalisation. Of course it can happen in other countries, but you're right, you say that. Every single shop I can think of I've been in Italy, in France, in Spain, even in tourist destinations, the choice just isn't there. And as soon as you remove the choice, I think you also remove the need and the fucked up thinking a little bit, not totally, to then go down the route of whoever this woman is saying, to eat 2 almonds and don't eat a grape and spit it out. And I mean, I get it. I understand it's a symptom of disordered eating and an eating disorder. But I just always find it curious that we, as a country, and it presumably, they say it's one of the reasons why COVID hit us so badly, so much worse than other parts of Europe, though it hit Italy pretty badly, didn't it? I just don't get it. I just don't know. And I don't see, I suppose the thing I'm trying to say is I don't see it changing anytime soon. I just see choice getting broader and broader and broader and broader and broader. Where will it end? I'm going to order a Big Mac.
Said, and the other thing is, at the touch of a button, you can have whatever you want. But I do think it's a slightly separate conversation when we're talking here about disordered eating passed on to your children, over-exercising passed on to your children. And I think as parents, it's so hard for us to get the right balance. We struggle with it all the time. Like, how are you, passing on to your children good habits? And when does it become about your obsession that you're passing on? And it is tricky.
I get it. But I suppose all I'm trying to connect up is the idea that if there wasn't so much choice, we wouldn't have the options that we have that create the problems that these parents then feel they're trying to resolve.
I don't think it's about our choice. I think it's about cultural differences to the way that we eat and the way that we see food. And, let's take Italy, for example. They will sit, they don't have a plate of pasta like this, like we have here. A tiny little bowl of pasta and then some meat, then some salad, then some, really, really good, nutritious food. That stops you being hungry. If you're eating shit and if you're grabbing shit and then you're going to be hungry in an hour's time, have something else.
There needs to be a huge advertising campaign for broccoli, I think. I think there does. I think there needs to be some big campaign to promote veg.
Your 5 a day, there was a massive one.
Yeah, but it always has some fucking annoying strapline like you're 5 a day, because immediately people go, I don't want 5 a day. Wouldn't it be better to get 1 in than none? Why does it have to be 5? Do you know what I mean? I get what they're saying, but sometimes I just think there isn't a bit of kind of clever thinking around this. I think we need to make broccoli sexy. Your sister's very good at it. Your sister manages to take incredibly boring ingredients for me and zazz them up into something that makes me want to wear thongs.
It's like I always say, there's a real problem here with the way that we make veg. We make it disgusting. In other countries, veg is delicious.
There you go.
And it's fresh and it's in season, so it tastes of something. Veg here is like often tastes of nothing. You could have 3 different veg and they all taste the same.
There you go, guys. You heard it here first. I like broccoli, by the way. Okay, Fifi, it's your birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Fifi. Happy birthday to you.
Do you want to do your thing?
I don't know what it is.
Subscribe to the channel.
Oh yeah, please can you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell.
We have a running joke that she says we never do that, and then I say do it, and then you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, sorry. Yeah, hit the subscribe button.